Welcome to the Alsco Uniforms It Pays to Keep Clean podcast, where we discuss industry best practices, celebrate big wins, and share stories about Alsco's growth journey. Cal Renick, good to see you this afternoon.
Good to see
we
you.
at afternoon yet?
Yeah.
I think we're close enough.
We're getting close.
Okay, we're getting so
close.
close.
We are getting close, yes.
So this is the first time we've had an opportunity to sit down and talk, even though you've been NSM for how long now?
6 months.
6 months. Okay,
6 months,
so
yeah.
you're still maybe getting your sea legs a little bit.
Still a baby.
So tell me a little bit about what you were doing before you were National Sales Manager in Region 2.
What I was doing before I was a national sales manager, I was an RSM in Region 7 for the last 5-ish years, almost
Okay.
6, yeah. And then the opportunity came to take the position in Region 2.
So those 5 years as RSM, is that your total time with Alsco then? Or
With Alsco, yes.
Okay.
I was, prior to that, I worked for Admiral Linen Service prior to the acquisition with Alsco. And kind of when that acquisition went down, I had moved over to Mission Linen Supply. And I was a general manager there for
Okay.
about 6 years, and then the opportunity to come back over to what was then Alsco presented itself. So it was kind of a coming home thing. I came back into a position as a regional sales manager, working with people I already had relationships with, some
Right.
that I'd even hired along the way. So it was a nice transition back to Alsco.
well, good. I'm glad we were able to attract you back.
I'm glad to be back.
And it sounds like you've had an awful lot of success as RSM. Obviously, that's what positioned you for the NSM position. What do you think kind of put you in a good position to be successful as an RSM?
Well, the personnel, the sales team in Dallas-Fort Worth, which was mainly where I was managing. Initially, I had some of Austin, San Antonio, and it's a bigger, and then we kind of started narrowing down the regions. And so in the end, I had Dallas-Fort Worth, Wichita Falls. And the Dallas-Fort Worth team is just so tenured, and they are go-getters. They're hunters, and you don't have to do much. Honestly,
Right.
they made me look very good. They did. Yeah.
So how did you go from not doing much into your NSM position, which I imagine might look a little bit different, at least in these first months?
It does. It looks way different.
Yeah.
I'm looking up, and you know, I've got a lot of work to do. It's a big region, and it's expansive. We have a nice young team of leaders, and when I say young, some of them are new-ish as well. Not necessarily the industry, but to Alsco.
Yeah.
And we're slowly rounding out those teams as well. We do not have we have a handful of tenured, very talented folks on each of those teams. But we also have a lot of very new SCs on those teams that we need to round into shape. So
Yeah.
we have a lot of work to do.
What about RSMs? Do you have tenured RSMs?
I have one that's
a little
20
bit of a
years
mix.
with
Oh,
Alsco, Jason Chelius. The rest of the team is probably 2 years or less with
Okay.
Alsco.
Yeah.
And so we're learning one another as we go, and you don't know what you don't know, and that's what I'm finding out along the way is what each of their talents are, where they may still need some additional training
Right.
or guidance, and so it's a work in progress, that's for sure.
So what attracted you to the NSM position?
I still wanted to grow with the company. Very early on, I talked to Ryan about it, and he kind of made me aware of the opportunity and asked if I would have interest, and I said, absolutely. I'm not ready to, as Jim said earlier, to ring the bell.
Right.
And I want to do more. I like a good challenge, and I have found one.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy to be in that role, and I think we'll do a lot of really good things. We have some branches in Region 2 that are going to be large growth branches.
So when you were looking at the position, part of it was about what it could offer to you, if you will, like
Sure.
an additional step in your career.
Sure.
And then part of it is probably about what you could contribute or what you could offer into Region 2, and how were you thinking about what you thought they needed or what you were being told they needed versus what you thought you
Yeah, and my goal was to bring some of that success we had in Region 7
Yeah.
to Region 2. Now, I'll be very honest, I didn't know a lot about Region 2 or any of the folks in it. When day one, I knew a couple of the guys. I knew Gage, and I knew Jason. The rest of the team I didn't know that well, and so I've spent a good part of the first half of the year just getting to know them, who they
Right.
are, what their talents are, what their strengths are, and things of that nature. And moving forward, now that we're kind of in, through that infancy period, that we're going to start look to add results now. I think we've recognized within the teams and on the teams things we need to do to get better. And I was hoping to bring some of that success that I've had and have it carry over into Region 2.
Do you think that it will translate, or some of the fundamentals maybe that you were seeing in Texas, any reason that they can't?
No, I do believe it will translate.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. I think that there's tons of potential there, and but that's all it is right now is potential, right? Until you put that into motion. I think we have the right leaders in place to do that, and those leaders are also recognizing the improvements that need to be made to their team.
Right.
And we're in the process of doing that. Yep.
So let's turn tracks a little bit into kind of what are some big wins that you've seen in your first 6 months, whether it's something that's really made it all the way to the finish line, or maybe even just some opportunities that give you excitement about what Region 2 can produce.
One of the early big wins was finally installing the Springfield Clinics.
Yeah.
This thing had been out there for a very long time. It finally installed the first part of April, and that went very well. We have a very, very good depot manager there in Springfield that made that.
It's out of the St. Louis branch,
yes,
right? Yeah.
Out of St. Louis. We had actually Phil in Milwaukee came down and helped with that install. He had some knowledge of that account. Mm-hmm. And all of that led to a very good install. We got off to a great start with them. We continue to be a good partner with them. So that was we waited a long time on that. We were expecting it in February, and so we were sweating that one a little bit, but it went well, and it's gonna.
And it opens up a new market for the St. Louis branch as well.
It does. It does, and we're gonna get more aggressive in that Springfield market, and like I said, our depot manager up there has great knowledge of that market, and he will be an asset to us there. So that was number one. Opportunities are abound. We were talking earlier today about some that actually I was going to talk to you about anyway. But
okay, you can whisper in my ear later.
Yeah,
but
we had the Denver Hilton to the finish line, and they got cold feet, and I think that will come full circle. I believe that we'll end up back there.
Okay.
It's a very large opportunity. We have some other opportunities similar to that in Denver right now in Cripple Creek. There's a lot of exciting things going on. We have a nice opportunity in Indianapolis that is another one of those large ones. I kind of look around the North America's footprint, and it seems like all the regions have had some nice big wins this year, and we've yet to get one of those signature ones. I think we have one coming.
Good.
So there are a lot of good irons in the fire. We just haven't had that one big one yet.
And I imagine it's a balancing act too. Like selling is a relationship with that customer, and how do you know that, are we ready to go to the next step? Are we ready to go to the next step? Or should we just break up now and spend our time elsewhere? So I'm sure it's a constant calculus of how likely are we to close.
I think that we've been there enough to know that you cannot depend on those. You're always going to have you're always going to have a finger on it. You're not going to let it just go away. But we got to be consistent week by week too, and bringing in consistent sales, and not waiting on the big one. The big one will come eventually.
Right.
We have a great support group with corporate accounts that are always working in the background.
They really do a phenomenal job.
That's just like a machine working behind us constantly, and they'll come through with some of those signature wins for us as well. So we're trying to keep the focus right now on the day-to-day, the down-the-road business that we have to bring in consistently to keep a respectful number.
So when you were in Region 7, largely F&B, not that there's now quite a bit of healthcare, a little bit of industrial, but really heavily focused on F&B, and probably the same for most of Region 2.
Yes.
What conversations are you having with RSMs and sales consultants, GMs, et cetera, about trying to really focus on that target market business? Again, not saying, the F&B is great, but it's going to come the way that some of the big elephant business is going to come. How do you turn the tide on target market?
I think that I think we've identified that healthcare in all of our, I'm not going to say all, most of our larger branches, our large growth markets, is our biggest opportunity. There's so much of it out there, we don't have even a fraction of the market share we
Right.
should. We need to focus on the training with our sellers
Yeah.
to get more and more comfortable with it. We work with Alex and her team quite a bit. They're always willing to come to town and spend time with our team to help train that. I have a fairly good knowledge in it, and I try to get out there when I can on those opportunities and lend a hand. We did, at the end of my tenure, at the end of my run at Region 7, we did have the healthcare branch in Wichita Falls, and we had some good success there. We had a couple of sellers in Dallas that just were knocking it out of the park. And so I've seen it work. Though neither of those two guys came from a healthcare background.
Well, success seems to breed success, right? So once you get that first one under your belt, you gain confidence, you know you've got the support teams behind you. There's not a reason not to toss yourself into the fray again and again and again. And
That's
so
right.
you just got to get that first one.
And I believe that that's our largest opportunity. We actually just recently got a very nice industrial win in Chicago, which is somewhat unusual. More than 100 wearers, which is nice.
Oh, wow. No, that's a good
so
sign.
so the industrial opportunities are there as well. I just feel like that our largest opportunity in the TM is healthcare currently. And we're going to focus on it. We're going to keep Alex and her team busy. So,
Good.
Yeah.
She can handle it, I'm
Yes,
sure.
she
I know
can.
they can.
She certainly can.
So one last question for you, kind of about team building. So as you move forward in this role and you're, building a team, obviously, what are some thoughts that you have around team building, its importance? How are you building a team as well with the branch, not just your own kind of downline?
Yeah, I've gotten to a place now where we're, like I said earlier, that we're kind of past the initial get to know you time, and when I go to the branches now, it's no more just to pop your head in the door and visit. We're getting out in the field now. We're going to get out in the marketplace with the RSMs, with the SCs, and get to know the markets, because honestly, I don't know them intimately like I did Dallas Fort Worth.
Yeah.
And so when I go to the different branches, we're starting to spend some time together selling instead of just pleasantries in the branch and getting to know everybody, and you're in there for a couple of days and then you're gone. Going to town with a purpose, with some appointments set, and honestly, that to me that's the most beneficial place to be, is out in the territory with the team.
Well, you're fresh eyes too, so while it's true that maybe that's not a market you're as intimate with as you were with Texas, there's good that comes from that, and you're going to gain that fluency quickly. And you also don't need it. That's what the team is there to understand their individual territories as much as they can.
I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. That's right.
Recently in Phoenix, and before that in Indianapolis, we spent time in a part of town. I said, whose territory is this? Because it is ripe with opportunities. And what are we doing? What do we have out here that we're working on? And you're right. I'm getting to know the marketplace a little better in each different branch, and it's really beneficial. It's that's what I consider team building, is getting out there with the team and selling it. Hoping to lend a hand. So.
Well, great. Well, look, I was really excited when I heard you were being elevated to the NSM position. I think the entire leadership team is. We have a lot of confidence in both you and your ability to help Region 2 kind of stay on track, and we're excited to see where you go.
Well, it's very flattering, and I'm glad to be here.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
That's all for today's episode of the It Pays to Keep Clean podcast. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the world of Alsco uniforms, where we explore the growth and challenges in our industry. Tune in next time for more industry insights, growth strategies, and tales from the field. If you've enjoyed our time together, please leave us a rating and review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. If you want to learn more about our services, visit us at alsco.com. From all of us here at the It Pays to Keep Clean podcast at Alsco Uniforms, thank you for listening. Stay safe, stay clean, and we'll see you in the next episode.